Call this meeting to order at 6:01. Roll call and declare.
Oscar Salinas here.
Nereida Cantu present.
Mary Hernandez present.
Armin Garza present.
Alex Cantu present.
Claudia Ochoa present.
SB Ochoa present. Dr. Science, I do declare a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. This evening, we have Yaneli Salinas, who is going to lead us in the pledge. Yaneli is a junior at Palmview High School. She is the RGV Lead Ambassador and Academy Ambassador President for Ford Next Generation Learning. Yaneli is also a member of the National Honor Society and is a peer forward leader. She is a student in the dual enrollment program with La Jolla ISD and takes college courses with South Texas College. Recently, Yaneli applied and was selected to be part of the RGV Mentor Program. She is being mentored by our school board president, Ms. SB Ochoa. Outside of school, Yaneli volunteers for activities such as Why La Jolla, various parent meetings, UIL middle and elementary meets, as well as RGV Workforce Solutions. Yaneli plans to continue her education after high school and aspires to become a classroom teacher. Today, Yaneli is accompanied by her parents, Rogelio and Iracema Salinas. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag and the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Yaneli. And Mr. and Mrs. Salinas, her parents, please stand so we can recognize you. Thank you.
I must say that Yaneli surely shines bright and great example to the students there at Palmview High School. Keep up the great work, Yaneli. Do we have any public comments? We don't have any public comments. We'll move on to approval of tax collector report, approval of October 2019 tax collectors report. Can I entertain a motion?
Also move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And motion passes. Approval of minutes, special call meeting, November 11, 2019.
Also move on items 1 and 2.
I have a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas, a second by Ms. Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. The first item under the superintendent's report is the enrollment report for November 19, 2019. On that day, we had 13,003 elementary students, 14,421 secondary students, for a total of 27,424 students, and this number is 640 students less than at this date last year. That's the enrollment report. Next on the superintendent's report, we have recognition of Asania Reyes, who is a 12th grade student from La Jolla High School. She is the winner of the La Jolla ISD 2019 Holiday Greeting Card Art Contest, and Ms. Blanca Cantu, our Public Relations and Communications Coordinator, will give this award.
Thank you, Dr. Science. Good evening, members of the board, Board President Ms. Ochoa, Superintendent Dr. Science, and members of the audience. It is an honor to recognize Hasiana Reyes this year for being the winner of the 2019 Holiday Greeting Card. We usually have our students showcase their talents through their greeting card contest, and this year we had our high schools be part of this contest. We had an immense amount of entries, and we chose our top 5 greeting cards so that they can go into the poll of our social media. They they voted within our 28,000 followers. And so we had our winner, and this is Hasiana Reyes. She's a 12th grade student at La Jolla High School. So congratulations, Hasiana.
Presenting the award are Ms. Espi Ochoa, School Board President, and Mary Hernandez, Vice President.
We do have her teacher here, Ms. Bernice Cerda, and her high school principal from La Jolla High School, Mr. Antonio Cano.
Can Mr. Cano join us in the picture and her teacher? Congratulations, Hasiana. We're going to be so proud to send this Christmas card to all our friends and families. Congratulations. Next, we have recognition of the 3 comprehensive high school librarians, grant coordinator, library service, and instructional director for the implementation of the Sprint 1 Million project at La Jolla ISD. And if we could have Mr. Oscar Coach Salinas and Ms. Claudia Ochoa present these awards.
Good evening, Ms. Board President, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Science. Our district was awarded the Sprint 1 Million grant in 2018-2019, from which 1,760 tablets were issued to our students. In year 2, we had an additional 2,261 cell phones and 352 tablets devices awarded as well, giving us a grand total of 4,373 devices. These electronic tools allow our students to complete their homework and also have access to the internet, which in turn assist in closing the achievement gap. There are many individuals who have contributed to the success of this project. However, tonight we want to recognize some key individuals that make a difference every single day. And they are Ms. Norma Garza, librarian at La Jolla High School. Ms. Ana Maria Perez, librarian at Juarez Lincoln High School. Ms. Elizabeth Cavazos, Jimmy Carter Early College High School. And then we have Ms. Alma Salinas, our Library Service and Instructional Resource Director. And Ms. Belen Leal, our Grant Coordinator. And not present today, but we do want to announce their names as well and recognize them, is Ms. Michelle Iruagas from Delma Salinas Early College High School, and also from the Academy for Health Science Profession, and also Ms. Nelly Manceretti at Palmview High School as well. Congratulations, and thank you so much for everything that you all do to assist our students. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for your work. Next, we have recognition of Leo J. Leo Elementary Girls on the Run. Ms. Jasinski, their principal, will give this award. And also we could have Mr. Armin Garza, Ms. Nereida Cantu, and Mr. Alex Cantu, school board members, present these students and teachers their award.
Doc, before we go on, I wanted to thank the special group of the ladies, the librarians, and everything that you do, but I also want to give a special thanks to Ms. Leal. Thank you, Ms. Leal. I know your department works hard and you work hard on getting those grants, so we're able to get this. So thank you, Ms. Leal.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas.
Good evening, Board President, Ms. Ochoa, distinguished board members, Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Science, and esteemed members of the community. My name is Ellie Jasinski, the principal of Leo Elementary, the home of the Leo Scholars. I would like to thank you in advance for letting me recognize our new organization, which is called Girls on the Run. They are the Sparkling Leos. Leo Elementary started a new program this year called Girls on the Run. This program is a nonprofit organization that forms partnerships with public schools. It is designed to enhance girls' social, emotional, physical skills, and behaviors to successfully navigate life expectations. Ms. Peñuelas, a teacher from Brownsville, she initiated this program, which she joined Leo Elementary. Along with her, the other coaches are Ms. Claudia Hernandez, Ms. Olga Garcia, Ms. San Juanita Maldonado, and Ms. Annette Rios. Today, I am also very proud to say that we have one of the board members from Girls on the Run, Ms. Melissa Musquiz. These ladies have made a positive impact on our girls. We have seen an improvement in their emotional, physical, and even academic behaviors. They've also done a community project, and they just completed a 5K run this last Saturday, November 16th, and they're going to participate in another 5K run. So with that, I'd like to just thank everybody that has been helping us with this Girls on the Run. Our Sparking Leos are Ivanka Alvarez, Zuley Borrego, Kareli Garcia, Sarah Gonzalez, Kaylee Lara, Samantha Lopez, Ashley Maldonado, Abigail Mancias, Julian Ortiz, Arlette Glover, and Alyssa Vega. Here with us celebrating our girls is Ms. Peñuelas, Ms. Garcia, Ms. Claudia Hernandez, and Ms. Melissa Musquiz. Thank you. If all the parents can stand up so we can give you a big hand too, please. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your support, parents.
Congratulations. And parents, if you can stand one more time so that we can thank you and recognize you, all the parents of these beautiful girls. Thank you, Ms. Jasinski, for providing these opportunities, and thank you, teachers. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Science. We'll move on to discussion items. Discussion of second 6 weeks in high school English 1 benchmark test results.
Good evening. I will be reporting on this district second 6 weeks progress report. So as you can see, I'm hoping that you all have your page turned to the scores. As you can see, you have the first 6 week scores in comparison to our second 6 weeks. And I just want to remind you that we are progress monitoring 3rd through 9th grade for reading and math. And then we're also progress monitoring 4th grade writing and 7th grade writing, okay? So we're gonna start off with reading. The first thing that I want to point out is that every grade level had an increase in the approaches level compared to the first 6 weeks. And that's, once again, that's in reading. And also, one of the things that I want you all to see is that we had significant growth in 3rd, 4th, and 8th grade. Significant being defined as more than 10-point gain, okay? However, in 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, we had a slight increase with less than 5-point gain. But once again, we did have increases in all grade levels. Additionally, every grade level had an increase in the meets category for the exception of 6th grade, with a decrease of 6 percentage points, and 7th grade remaining stagnant with a 27%. Okay? Furthermore, in the master's category, we also had a gains in every single grade level except in 6th grade, where we remained stagnant with a 10%. If you recall, we did not report the English 1 assessment during the first 6 weeks, and that was because our students were follow a block schedule. So one of the things that I do want to point out is the goal, which is to have a 62% of our students at the approaches level, a 37% of our students at the meets level, and then a 10% at the master's level. So I do want to report those, I do want to report how our students did. So we had our students perform at a 49% at the approaches, 34% at the meets, and then we had 2% at the master's level, giving us a gap of 13% at the approaches, 3% at the meets, and then 8% for the masters. So overall for reading, as you can see, the gaps are not as compelling as they were during the first 6 weeks. So we are on track to meeting our 2020 goals. Questions about reading that you all might have?
It's a huge feat, and I mean, something to be proud of. So we're very proud of everybody that had a hand in that curriculum instruction and the reading teachers, because everybody showing an increase is quite a feat.
Absolutely. Our teachers are teaching away, doing a fantastic job, and our coordinators and executive directors are on it. So we're very proud of each and every one of them. So we're going to move on to math. In math, once again, we did have significant growth in 3rd, 4th, and 7th grade at the approaches category. 6th grade did have a slight increase with a 6 percentage point gain. We did have a decrease in 5th and in 8th grade. But one of the things that I do want to let you all know that is that historically, 5th and 8th grade are our highest performing grade levels in the district. So one of the things that I need you all to know is that this past 6 weeks, the content that was taught is the content that our kids normally have a very difficult time in our state assessment. So one of the things that we're working with our teachers is that we need to make sure that we reteach those skills, that we make sure that not only that we reteach, that we check for understanding, and then make sure that we spiral and maintain those skills throughout, okay? If we compare our meets and masters category with the first 6 week scores, you can see that our students showed great gains in every grade level, for the exception of 5th and 8th grade, which showed that regression that we just talked about. Additionally, the gap category is looking very promising, and we are on track not only to meet, but to surpass our goals set. Okay? Questions about math? In writing, in 4th grade, we had a regression in Module 3, but an increase in Module 4. 7th grade had a slight decrease in approaches and master's level, with a 1 percentage point and a greater decrease in the meets category, with an 8-point decrease. One of the things that we're doing is continue to focus in the area of writing because that continues to be an area of concern in our district. Once again, our teachers are working on teaching the writing process at a very young, well, in the first grade on, because it's very imperative that we teach the writing process correctly. And then also making sure that our teachers understand that it's okay to be flexible with our time. If we need to teach writing a little bit longer, it's okay to do that. So it's something that we've been communicating with them, and for them to feel comfortable to be able to do that, okay? Also, in fourth grade, this past 6 weeks, one of the things that we did was that they were expected to write a full composition. We assessed a full composition versus in the first 6 weeks, we only assessed a component of the writing process. In other words, our fourth grade students were just expected to write an introduction. So that's a main difference there, okay? Questions that y'all might have for fourth grade. Okay, in seventh grade, we're continuing, once again, like I mentioned, working with our teachers, making sure that our students understand how to use the help strategy effectively, and trying to support our teachers as much as possible. Questions that you all might have? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Delgado.
Thank you, Mrs. Villarreal.
We'll move on to number 2 under discussion items, discussion of second 6 weeks average daily attendance.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Dr. Science, before I start with this, the overview of second 6 weeks attendance, I want to just do a quick recap of first 6 weeks and some of the things that we discussed for first 6 weeks. For the first 6 weeks, we discussed that we had a total amount of savings of $181,680 total, and that in comparison from last school year to this school year, we have a difference of, at the first 6 weeks mark, 4,542 less absences, less student absences than we did in 2018-2019. So we move on to second 6 weeks. We've run into a couple of little hurdles here and there because there's been some more absences than we had anticipated because of the weather, because of different reasons. So we still had, in 2018-2019, let me go ahead and go over the numbers, we had a total amount of absences, 39,731 at the end of second 6 weeks, with an estimated cost of $1,589,240. In 2019-2020, at the end of second 6 weeks, we have 38,280 absences with an estimated cost of $1,531,200, for a difference of 1,451 absences less than last school year at this time. So a total savings of 58,040. If we combine first and second 6 weeks, combined in 2018-2019, we had a total of 74,910 absences first and second 6 weeks combined, for an estimated cost to the district of $2,996,400. This year, we have a total of 68,908 absences with an estimated cost of $2,756,320. So the difference from, if we put together first and second 6 weeks, combined, we have a total of 6,002 less absences this year up to the end of second 6 weeks than last school year. So for a total savings of $240,000 80 to this date for second 6 weeks. So we're just talking about first and second 6 weeks. So what are some of the strategies that our department is in charge of? Constant monitoring. Our department runs reports on a daily basis to track absences on students for every single campus. If we see that there's any one particular campus who has 40, 50 absences on any one particular day, we make a home visit, we call, we go visit the campus, we try and find out what it is that happened, we talk to the administrators, and we also talk to the attendance clerk, who's the one that ultimately keeps track of all these absences. So there's constant monitoring done by our department. We also share this information. These reports are shared at every principal's meeting every week. We also meet with Dr. Science at our student services meetings every week. We go over the reports, we talk about strategies, what have we been doing, what else needs to be done. And so we have also filed or submitted a waiver because there's, like I mentioned earlier, there's sometimes some circumstances that cause students to be absent. We had a particular school that had a massive amount of absences on October the 7th because of a threat that was made. So what TEA does is they allow us to go ahead and submit a waiver to go ahead and exclude that day from the total amount of absences that when we do our calculations. So we've submitted that waiver. Then we're in the process of submitting another waiver for a total of 10 schools because of the weather that we had when it went to, I think, 42 degrees and it was really cold. We had a high number of absences. So we had a total of 10 schools who qualified for that waiver, and we're in the process of submitting that as well. So our department is keeping track of that. So what are some of the incentives? The school district offers an incentive of $1 per student, and when I presented first 6 weeks, we went over some of those goals, that every elementary and middle school campus needed to have at least 97.5 attendance goal. If they meet the goal and they have a total enrollment of, say, 500 students at their school, they receive $500. And principals are really excited about that, and they work really hard to meet those goals. And so, additionally, we're working, just started with an extra incentive. One of the things that we noticed is that there was a trend. A lot of students are absent on Fridays, and we wanted to provide some type of incentive to them. And because we've received some donations, we were able to go ahead and give $25 gift cards to students at every high school. This problem is only mainly at the high schools that we're having this problem. So we went ahead and we're going to start this Friday. It's going to be a raffle, and 10 students will be awarded every Friday a $25 gift card. And so that's another incentive that we are helping out with. Just briefly, I want to mention that every school district is expected to have something that is called, through House Bill 2398, every district is required to implement some type of truancy prevention measure. And the purpose of this is to help with students that are excessively absent. La Joya School District went ahead and adopted what's called the Student Attendance and Tracking Accountability. And there's a lot of detail that goes into that, so I'm not going to get in depth into all of that, but we refer to it as SADA. It's a program that every campus utilizes when students have excessive absences. The principal places these students in this particular program, and they don't count against, their absences don't count against the district. So I'm just going to go over the bullets real quickly. This program is offered to students with excessive absences, and through this program, students have the opportunity to make up instructional time lost during the week, after school or on Saturdays, and this is to be in compliance with the 90% attendance law. And through this program, the students recover instructional time, and the district recovers funding as well. So it's really important. I just kind of wanted to touch base with you on that. So what do we do when it comes to SEDA? One of the main things is we monitor that the implementation is taking place as it should be. One of the things we do is we run the reports, and I myself make sure that we find out or count how many students have 10 absences or more. We provide this list to the principals. I go to their campus, and I make sure that those students are placed in SEDA. This is to help the school district so that those absences are not counted against us. So we just make sure that everything is done. There's a lot of little details that go with this, and responsibilities for the attendance clerk and for the teachers that teach these extra classes that I'm not going to go into because it's very detailed. But I just kind of wanted to mention that's another strategy that we are utilizing. And there's a lot of collaboration that goes into what we do as well, because it's not just us that do this, it's different departments. We have had meetings with parents, and we remind parents if they have neighbors, if they have anyone that they know of whose students are not coming to school every day, to please remind them. We've had meetings with students as well. We tell them, I know that you all are the good students, but I'm sure you have friends that are not coming to school every day. Please remind them of how important it is to be in school every day. So those are some of the things that we do. We assist with also making phone calls, with making home visits. We have also worked very closely with transportation. I want to thank Mr. Raul Gonzalez, who has been exceptional. When there has been situations where a bus, maybe it's a new bus driver, misses like an entire area, the principal or assistant principal call us. We have 10 students missing today. What can you do? We call Mr. Gonzalez, he sends a bus, and they will pick up those students and bring them to school. And so we have been working very closely with transportation. We've also been working very closely with the custodial department with Mr. Loya, the district nurse. We have had several outbreaks of the flu, and the principals say, well, what are we supposed to do? If they have the flu, well, they can't come to school. So we're trying to use some preventative measures, not only preventative, but when we had the flu outbreaks, what is the district doing? So we've gone over and had everything washed down and cleaned and disinfected so that to be able to prevent this from happening again. So those are some of the strategies that I wanted to go ahead and say. This is just a little bit of what we do. It's just a constant every day. Are there any questions at this time?
No, I just want to thank you for everything you're doing, Dr. Villarreal, and to you and your staff and anybody else that's helping you. So the numbers are going, ahí vamos. So.
It's a huge job. It really is, yeah. Because you have to realize that sometimes we're making the efforts here, mm-hmm. and we talk to principals and the administrators here. But when you actually go and make those home visits and visit those students, you get to find out the situations they're in. Mm-hmm. We're expecting them to be in school when they have the most difficult living conditions at times. And so when you find out this out, you try and do whatever you can to assist with whatever the district can do.
I believe we've also contacted kids that come from Mexico, I believe, right?
Yes.
And getting picked up at the ferry.
We started assisting one particular family whose house burned down from Sullivan City, and they had to go ahead and move. The mom had to go ahead and move to Diaz Ordaz, but she said she didn't want anyone else, her students, to miss out on school, number one, and she didn't want her kids to be in any other district but La Joya. So we helped her out. She had 3 students, and so we were assisting in transporting those students over. She would bring them over, and the bus would pick them up and transport them over to our school district. Then we have a second family who's in the same situation. So yes, we're going above and beyond, trying to help with everything that we can. So hopefully the numbers will reflect that in the next presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Villarreal, one question. Is there a cutoff time, like, for our students to be counted present? I know there used to be one. Is there still one?
Yes, they have to be there by ADA time. For the elementary level, it's 9:25. For secondary level, it's during second period.
That they have to be
They have to be present during second period.
How about for high school?
10:30.
10:30.
Yes, and principals are aware of this. They know all the guidelines, when can you accept students, when do you not accept students, have they gone to the doctor and come back? There's a lot of little details that they have to bring their excuse in order to be counted present, and so all of those things are discussed at principals' meetings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Villarreal.
Madam President, before we move on to item number 9, I'd like to make sure that we pull everything out of consent agenda. It's super important that we are able to discuss all these items in public. And I was very disappointed to see that the entire agenda was under consent agenda. So I'd like to pull everything out.
And that's for A, B, and C. And we're leaving instruction and student services in consent agenda since that's travel and grants for kids.
We can approve it in a group item, that's fine. We can just pull everything out.
Okay. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. So let's go to contracts. Approval of MOU with Pathway Aligned to Health Science Paths Project. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Approval of robotics and automation Saturday camp through South Texas College. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any discussion? Motion passes. Under bids,
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion on items 1 and 2. Before the meeting, I submitted an agenda item for South Texas College to make a presentation here, and it was taken out for some reason, and it has something to do similar to these 2 items here. And the recommendation was to bring it back to the committee meetings, the curriculum and committee meeting, in a later time so that they can discuss and make a decision on similar items. With that being said, I think it's only the right thing to do before we move into item 1 and 2 to bring it back to curriculum committee meetings before we jump into the certifications and spend $210,000.
I have questions regarding these programs as well when it comes to certification and stuff
can I
like
have
that.
can I have a second?
I have a second.
Okay.
I'll make the second motion.
Okay, and to answer your question, Mr. Cantu, when this was brought up to me during setting the agenda, Dr. Science and I had a discussion if it had gone through the proper channels, and so she was going to take it back to the cabinet, discuss, then go to curriculum and committee, and then bring a presentation to the board.
If I remember correctly, one of the complaints that you had in the past was that ex-president Claudio Ochoa, if you had board members, 2 or 3 board members ask for something under the agenda, you would pull it, and she pulled once or twice the item, and that's the same thing that you're doing right now. So why couldn't it be put on the agenda at that time?
My explanation is that it didn't go to the proper channels, so I wanted it to go back to support administration, and then it was going to come back.
Well, let's avoid approving something that would override that presentation until we have that presentation, and I'd like to be present for that as well.
We did have a meeting with STC to talk about different certification areas, and we're continuing to move ahead with STC on the areas that they can provide certification with. And so in our district, because of the demand that we have for certifications, we do work with SDC, and SDC does provide courses for a lot of certifications for our students. These are different areas that at the moment we cannot obtain through SDC. But we are continuing to work with SDC. They do have some new certification areas, and we're very happy to be working with them on some programs also.
My concern is that we've had several questions from the community when it comes to these type of fields, and we kind of don't know what to answer. So I would like to have a meeting whether it be the way we had the transportation meeting to address us about the buses, so we can all be on the same page when it comes to stuff like this, because we don't know sometimes what to answer, and I think in order for us to be informed, we need to have something,
Right.
some training.
We can have, maybe at our next meeting, we can have a discussion on all of the different certifications that we do offer through our CTE program, and also talk to you about some of the ones that we currently do offer through STC.
Doc,
So
on
on these two
go ahead.
items, we're approving what? Electrocardiograph, EKG, and STC doesn't offer that certification, the EKG?
They do offer it, but sometimes because of professors or scheduling, we obtain all of the ones that we can from STC.
And this
but
wouldn't be-
we still have additional needs that this is being used to cover.
But specifically EKG, they don't.
No, they do, STC does provide EKG.
And then we're also approving like nurse assistants, right?
Through these two, we're asking for medical billing and coding, phlebotomy, certified nursing assistant, and EKG.
And just to clarify, the STC does offer those certification programs.
They do
Because it might be a
offer-
little misleading when we say
Yes,
that they
they
don't
do
offer some
offer
stuff.
they do offer those programs, and through SDC, we currently have enrolled all the kids that we could have enrolled, but this is to meet additional needs. And the purpose of these two contracts that are here are, we currently have 176 kids that are enrolled in one or more of these 4 programs, and this cost is for additional curriculum so that they can be able to test on them and get one certain certificate, and I hope I'm saying this right, Mr. Flores, which is the patient care certificate that covers all of these different certificates. So this is to finish off the program for these 176 kids that we currently have enrolled in one or more of these 4 certification areas.
Mr. Flores, I'd like clarification on regarding this certificate. Are we certifying kids or are they being issued a certificate? And is there a difference? And what is these particular 2 items offering?
What happens is our students are enrolled in the coursework, and through the coursework, they get exposed through 3 different curriculums, 3 out of the 4. In this case, for example, for patient care, they'll be exposed to the electrocardiograph or the EKG, the CNA portion, and they'll also be exposed to the CNA, the EKG, and I'm missing one. It's 3 out of the 4, and so 3 out of those 3, then they can test for the patient care technician
So they're
certificate.
issued a certificate or are they certified?
They're issued a certificate of completion, and they also go test and get certified through the.
I have a question. If the student decides that he doesn't like the field, are those hours transferable to a college?
These particular ones would not be stackable, no.
If we were to go through STC, would they be transferable to another college, or would they be certified, not issued a certificate?
STC would offer stackable options, and they have both. They have a continuing ed portion, and they also have a dual enrollment or earn credit hours where they can stack, yes.
Awesome.
What would be the reason for this recommendation?
I'm sorry?
What's the reason behind this recommendation? This recommendation came from administration in your department.
Correct. The additional funds that are being requested, or at this point being brought up to you, is because we want to make sure that those kids that are in there right now have the option to be able to fulfill the entire PCT curriculum, which is those 3 out of the 4. They have to be there for an X amount of hours, and so they're scheduled from the beginning of August all the way up to the end of May, basically. And so they have to be able to go through those 3 curriculums. At this point, obviously, they haven't finished the curriculum, so with those additional funds that we want to get approval for is so that they can finish and be certified under the PCT.
Okay, Mr. Flores, well, we can address the questions that we have regarding, and these 2 items don't encompass those questions that we have, then we need to make sure that the board is informed regarding our questions.
I have another question.
When it comes to certification and issuing a certificate.
I just have a question, Mr. Flores and Dr. Science. Compared to the other program or programs that we had that did the same thing, what is the comparison between them and whoever's there now and on the completion and kids getting certified? Because we all know that not all our kids are college bound. So the reason for these programs is to have those kids ready to go to work as soon as they get out from school, correct? Can you give us a comparison on that, on the numbers?
Wait, hold on, Mr. Flores, but Coach Salinas, That presentation, I was present with Dr. Science, with yourself, and that was very valuable information. We wanted that to be presented here, and that's why that item agenda was put, which is why I don't understand why it was removed.
And I agree with you, Coach. Not
that
all
would have answered
students
all
are
our questions.
college bound, and we need to make sure that we're offering curriculum that we're there. If not, they're not going to college. They're able to work right after they're certified in these certain.
But that's what you're saying, Mr. Flores, that they are
We
getting
would have
certified,
received that
correct?
from them.
But I agree with you, Coach, in that sense that
Yeah.
not all kids are college bound. But we need to make sure that we prepare these kids to be able to enter the workforce.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to say is that because I'm saying that not all kids are college bound, some of these kids are already parents. Some of these kids need to continue or start working or continue to work. My question to you, Mr. Flores, and to Dr. Science was the comparison on the graduation rate, making our kids successful. How many kids are we making successful with this program versus the other program? I understand the STC thing about it. I just want to know what our kids are being faced with right now and what is it that they need to do to be successful. We're having a graduation, I believe, in January. Am I correct? Some of these kids are, some of these kids are those kids that are going to graduate there on that date.
Correct, and I don't have it, I believe you might have it in front of you, but in 2017 and 18, we had 130 kids, 131 kids.
131.
131?
Can you speak a little louder, Mr. Flores?
I'm sorry?
Can you speak a little louder?
Yes, I hear the echo and it kind of bothers me a little bit, I'm sorry. But on the 2017 and 18, we had 131 certifications that were issued by Rio Grande Vocational Services. And then last year, we had another 137 that were also issued out, so about 268 certifications or so within this past 2 years with this company. We do offer both tracks. We offer a dual enrollment track, and we also offer this particular route. So our students have the option to basically go the dual enrollment route. If they so want to go a stackable option, they have it through us. And in fact, we are working with STC and we're submitting a report to them on this Friday for other programs that we want to work with them as well. But they do have, there's other things to consider. But at this point, what I'm proudful to say, working with La Jolla, is that we provide the students with both options. If a student wants to go the route of a dual enrollment and a stackable option, he's got that option. And if he wishes to pursue a certification in the classroom that will get him working right away with a job, we offer that as well. So we do have both options available for our kids.
Are they accredited hours or not?
They're, as far as it being stackable, they wouldn't be stackable. So that I know of at this point, unless something has changed in the last couple of months, that I know of at this point, it is not a dual enrollment program. It's basically a certification they receive. Much similar to a welding, where they receive a welding. Doesn't mean that that certificate carries any hours with an institution. It's two completely different things.
Does that include the exam? Or
I'm sorry?
Does that include the exam or them helping them take the exam?
Oh, yeah,
or preparing them for the exam?
When we pay the fee, that includes the student going through the program and taking the exam as well, yes.
My understanding, my confusion here in the whole thing is that we're being told that we couldn't sign up anybody more with STC, right? That's what you said? We already reached the number.
What we're saying is that through the programs that SDC has available, we are taking advantage of all of that SDC has to offer us. The meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago was to find other ways and other certificates that our students could earn, but everything that is available through SDC, we do take advantage of. Just like Mr. Flores said, that we do offer some certification through the dual hours program also. So we have both in our district, and it does take both to be able to meet the needs of our kids.
Correct.
One of the things that our district is being held accountable is how many of our kids earn an industry certification, and that's a new state accountability, and it's the college career military readiness. The state does not distinguish between a certificate earned through a program such as this and one earned through SDC. Our students, our high schools, earn the 1 point that is needed for all students under CCMR, whether it's this kind of a certificate or through SDC. If we relied only on SDC, we would not be able to get the points that we currently get through CCMR. So our district needs to get as many of those points as possible, which is why sometimes we do have to go through programs like this to meet the demand of our kids and to meet the accountability rating requirements.
My understanding, with talking to some STC administrators, is that they've offered everything and anything to La Jolla SD, and they would adjust. We just haven't asked.
And that was one of the discussions that we did have with SDC 2 weeks ago.
So, I mean, that's why I wanted to bring it back so we can make sure that we are all on the same page and we have the correct information moving forward before any of this, because I understand where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, if these kids don't like their field, what's to say that some of our people aren't forcing kids to get into the program just for certificates?
The mic?
One of the things that we do want to add is that based on that meeting, we did do a interest inventory based on the programs that they have to offer, and we do have those results, right? Because there's some programs that basically that are new and we're not offering at this point in time. So we do have the results, and we are going to be looking into offering some of these, and some are like, for example, the barber, right? The HVAC, the cybersecurity, and so forth. So just to know that it's something that we're currently working. I think that we do have a partnership with STC. One of the things that, and I believe it's a strong partnership with STC, but we will be making decisions in the best interest of our kids. Obviously the stackable, option is a very good option for our students. But based on what Dr. Science just shared right now, and when it comes to our state accountability, that's also something that we also need to be looking out for, but obviously always in the best interest of our kids.
So your recommendation, Mrs. Villarreal, would be to continue with this?
Well, the recommendation at this point in time basically is that we have kids enrolled. There is a curriculum that we need to finish up with the kids that are currently enrolled. I think that at this point in time, there's two different things that we're looking at. We're looking at this that's being presented at this point in time, where we have kids enrolled that they need to finish at this point in time. And then we're looking at what else does SDC have to offer our district. And that's why we have this interest inventory that was given to our students, right, based on our meeting that we had. And we have our results, and it's something that I know that we need to go ahead and sit down with STC and look at what are the fees, what is it that we have to go ahead and look into, what do we have to invest, what is it something that's feasible for us, for our students, and it's something that we could offer, and obviously always in the best interest of our kids. Definitely. Right?
And any new programs that SDC does present to us, we will be happy to participate in, because as I said, we have about 13,000 high school students, and all of them need either to be college ready or career ready. And so student shortage for certificates, whether from SDC or anyone else, is not a shortage. So we need SDC partnerships also.
The comment that I made before the motion was that that's why we wanted a presentation so we can ask these type of questions, and it was pulled out.
And it was, Mr. Cantu, going to be brought back.
Did these two items go through the curriculum committee?
No, we haven't had a committee.
No, because Dr. Sines stated that she wanted to spend time with her administration team to have the discussions based on that meeting, and then it would go to curriculum, and then it would come to us. That's the reason why it was not placed on the agenda. Absolutely, we want to continue working strong with SDC.
These items did not go through committee, just like a lot of other items do not go through committee. They're needs that the directors present, and so they're put on the agenda. Not all curriculum and instruction items go through committee. They're just needs that need to be presented to the board.
Okay, Madam President, you have a motion, or what is it? Because I'm not going to get in the way of making our kids take the...
I think there was a motion.
I had a motion to postpone from Claudia, Ms. Ochoa, and Mr. Cantu to postpone.
But then you need to take it to a vote.
Correct.
That is correct.
So all in favor for postponement?
Aye.
Aye.
All against?
Nay.
Nay. Okay.
I'm so moved to approve.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Madam President, are you
On
voting to bring it back, or?
The motion was to approve.
The motion was to
Items 1 and 2.
approve, but we are going to bring back what Mr. Cantu had requested on the agenda for discussion. Yes.
So right now, the motion was to
To
approve.
approve items 1 and 2.
Can you
under
clarify who the
bids.
votes were to approve?
That is correct. The motion from Mr. Salinas was to approve the item.
And the second came from?
Ms. Hernandez.
And the votes?
And the votes came from Mr.
Salinas,
Salinas,
Mr. Hernandez,
Mr.
Mr. Garza.
and myself.
And yourself. Okay,
That's
that
correct.
was my question. That was easy.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, so that was item 1 and 2, because the
Correct.
previous motion had been 1 and 2, so.
Correct.
I so moved on 1 and 2.
Correct. And we will be bringing back those other items.
Thank you.
Under bids, grease traps, lift stations, and related services, CSP 2019-23 extension. Can I have a motion?
So move.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor? Those opposed? Any discussion? Motion passes. Under bids, number 4, approval of content web filter, CSP 2019-67. Can I have a motion?
Also move.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Automotive bus specialized repair services, RFP 2020-14.
I have a question on that too.
Also move, but I'll go
I
ahead.
have a question. Didn't we just go out for RFQs, proposals not too long ago, Mr. Trevino? Or,
Good evening. Yes, we did, Mr. Cantu. However, we have 3 bids that are expiring on December 31st of this year. Those are bid 2017-44, 2017-28, and 2017-85. So it is department practice that before those bids expire, we process a bid and invite those vendors whose bids are expiring, as well as any new vendors that have registered on our e-bidding system. And so we extend that invitation, and what we're presenting to you for board action are those submittals for vendors that have participated.
this is for mechanic diesel, right?
These are for both automotive and bus repair services.
Like mechanics, pretty much, right?
Supplemental needs for those repairs that our mechanics cannot perform in-house.
Okay. Can you read the three people that
companies
submitted
that were
a bid?
I'm sorry?
Can you read the names of the companies that submitted the bid?
Yes, sir. The vendors that participated as a result of the solicitation are Border Engine, Rebuilders, and Diesel Services.
Have we worked with them before? I'm sorry to interrupt. Have we worked with them before in this capacity?
Yes, ma'am. The second vendor is Collision Masters Incorporated.
Have we worked with them before in this capacity before?
I would have to go back and review because they have not been a current vendor. They registered in our e-bidding system a few months ago. So when the bid solicitation was issued, because they checked off the commodity code that pertains to automotive repair services, they were invited. And so they participated.
Do they do diesel work or automotive?
They do auto paint body work.
Okay.
The next one, Ms.
Yes, sir. And the third vendor is Kyrish Truck Centers.
Have we worked with them before in this capacity?
We have, because they're a sister company to Longhorn Bus Sales, and they service our international fleet.
So the only ones that you don't know that we've done work with in the past is Collision Masters, right?
I would have to go back and check the finance system to see how far back. Maybe many years ago, not recently.
But just to provide clarification, this was a bid that was afforded and anybody
Yes,
could
sir.
apply?
This was a bid that was processed Similarly to the others that are in place, we advertised as required by state law, and we extended the opportunity to participate to all those vendors whose bids were expiring, as well as any new vendors that registered in our e-bidding system, who were not currently awarded vendors.
It's got to remember Border Engine about a couple of months ago too. That's why that was my question.
Sometimes some of the vendors that are already awarded, Mr. Cantu, choose to participate again because they're afraid that if they don't, they might miss. They might miss when we process the bid that pertains to their expiration date. So that happens oftentimes. Any
But
other
the invitation
questions?
goes out to several. I mean, anybody that wants to participate
Yes.
can participate.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you need a motion also? Move for
So we
approval.
have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
I'll abstain.
Aye.
I'll abstain as well.
Thank you, Ms. Zapata.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of elevator upgrade at Leo J. Leo Elementary, quote 2020-808 through Purchasing Cooperative. Can I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of consultant services RFP 2020-08.
I'd like clarification on this item, Madam
Yeah.
President.
Okay, can I have a motion first?
Also move for approval.
Second.
Can I still have
Discussion?
clarification?
Yes,
on-
discussion.
Is there a particular question that you have, Ms. Ochoa?
Just general
The,
breakdown of what this item is.
These items from the vendors' names are used by Student Services Department for social counseling types of work with students.
My concern was that we only got, as backup information, we only got a list of 3 names and no additional information on it. And it's a pretty large contract or a pretty large amount, and I just wanted to know.
Don't we normally include, like, all the information? That's why
Yeah.
we just have names? No.
And we did request additional.
This bid or proposal is tailored a little differently than any other bids we have in place. And so recently, the Texas Education Agency updated their financial accountability resource system guide, specifically the purchasing module. During that update, they now allow for us to have what's called an open RFP term. And so in the past, other school districts practiced doing so. We've always been very, very cautious of that process and very, we're very particular about processing our proposals as competitive sealed proposals. Now, when TEA updated their manual and allowed for this provision, they also, as a result of that update, removed the section that allowed us to reference an old Attorney General opinion, which was the one that allowed us to hire consultants based on their level of knowledge and skill, such as consultants. So whenever we use state or local funds, we relied on that Dan Morales opinion, I believe it was number 418, which allowed us to do so. When the Module 5 for purchasing was updated, they completely removed that section. So that forced us to realign our processes of hiring consultants. So with those 2 changes in place, our recommendation at the administrative level was, of course, to be purchasing compliant. So we're audited, we'll be able to provide our purchasing compliance to any auditor, whether it be local, state, or federal. So we had numerous meetings with our federal and state programs director, with our bilingual director, with our higher administration. And so we decided to process an RFP designed as an RFP should be. So for this particular RFP, our window of time was actually from the initial date when we issued it all the way to August 31st of 2020. No other bid or proposal that we process is staged this way. Because of the changes in the TA manual, we can do it. So there was, from the very beginning, this is about the third or fourth board meeting that we come to you with a list of consultants referencing the RFP number 2020-08. And so what we did is we advertised, we complied with the state law, and we sent a bid invitation to all vendors that had already registered in our system. We made a call to all our campus principals. We had meetings with them. We had specific meetings with our curriculum and instruction administration because that is one of the departments that brings in most of the consultants. And so we wanted to make sure we were proactive and capture as many consultants as possible. So we extended that invitation to them, and we told them, we urged them to participate in the proposal process so that they could submit their qualifications, their experience, and their pricing. So as these proposals are received, we're able to compile a tab sheet as the one you see on page 71, and we come before you for approval. And so, like I said, this is about the third or fourth meeting that we bring a list. So the amount that you see there is an estimated cost as an aggregate. It's only an estimate. And so that window is still open. So as more needs arise throughout the year, our administration submits those vendor contacts to us, and our office reaches out to them and explains to them the RFP submission process.
Correct.
So,
this is, Mrs. Zapata, this is for student services?
This encompasses consultants for various areas for which we don't have a specific RFP in place. So this includes curriculum, this includes human resources, it includes student services, it includes all the divisions. Now, if, for example, we are going to spend $250,000 more on a consultant using federal funds, then we process an individual proposal. We are a little more conservative. That was the word I was looking for earlier. We're much more conservative at the district level. So if in the past we have processed an RFP for particular services that are funded through federal funds, we continue to do so.
So in other words, this amount right here under the estimated cost is not only for consultants that are on this list, but for others that have also been approved.
That's correct.
And others that will be approved, that will be for staff development, instruction, administrative, fine arts, athletics, nutrition, etc.
Yes, Dr.
So we're
Sainz,
just
that's
adding
why
these
we
people here
indicated.
onto the current list.
Yes,
So,
we indicated that it was a cumulative estimate per year. And then during the summer, we're going to come before our school board for approval on those consultants for the second year. We processed it as a 1 year with the option to extend for 2 one-year terms individually. And so we'll be doing that. So when we come during the summer, you're going to see the cumulative list.
So you'll be bringing it back, so.
Yes, yes, Mr. Salinas, we will.
Thank you, Ms. Zapata, for that clarification. I just wanted clarification. Thank you so much.
I think we appreciate your wealth of knowledge on the topic. It's just we were questioning, I think, like, we don't know who Penny Cruz is, and just a little information would have been helpful, but I appreciate your information. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zapata, for being so explicit.
Thank you, Ms. Zapata.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Number 8, under bids, approval to procure hardware and software for internet-enabled school buses through DIR contract DIR-TSO.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Number 9, approval to procure wireless service and data for internet-enabled school buses through DIR contract DIR/TSO-3415.
So move.
You don't want to, Coach, so move items 9, 10, 11, and 12?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I want to thank our transportation, our departments here. Quiero agradecer a todo nuestro departamento de transportación por estar aquí con la ilusión de los buses nuevos. Estamos dando la aprobación aquí. So, gracias por todo lo que hace.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Under Business and Finance, letter C, number 1, approval of application for payment of contractor's fee number 7 for La Joya ISD Irene M. Garcia Middle School HVAC renovations project.
Also move.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Application and certificate for final payment of contractor's fee number 6 for La Joya ISD Storage Facility Electrical Upgrade Project.
Also move.
A motion, and I have a second. All in favor? Aye.
Mayo, we should be good with this one, no? Or Joe? Actually, it's in Joe's area, no? We should be good with this one? Okay.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Number 3, under Business and Finance, approval of application of contractor's payment request number 2 for La Joya ISD job order contract with Performance Services, Inc., elementary school tracks and school security gates.
So move.
I have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Where are we with this? Do we have anybody on the tracks, and where are we with the project? Who's being worked on right now? What school? I know Tabasco's one of them that's being worked on right now.
And JFK.
So we can get it going quick.
Yeah, all the kids are excited.
Yeah.
They all want to track. So.
The banners are out.
Good evening, Board President, Superintendent, Board members. My name is Mariano Garcia with M. Garcia Engineering. As far as the status for the tracks, we have JFK Elementary. That's been completed. They resurfaced, sealed, and striped. As far as Tabasco, they've worked on the subgrade, flexible pavement, and storm sewer. They're working on the curb and gutter, so they're proceeding pretty fast on that one. And then after that, they'll proceed to Camarena, I believe. Any questions?
So JFK is complete?
Yes, it's been completed. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Under Business
you.
and Finance, number 4, approval of application of a contractor's payment. Number 3, for La Joya ISD Phase 2 of PSI Guarantee Energy Savings PS Performance Contractor Amendment Project. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Second. Motion dies. For number 4,
I'm sorry, can you give us more information on this item, please?
This is the PSI also, Mr. Morin, on the energy savings.
sorry. For the energy savings, what's been completed so far is the Tabasco, the AC units, they're fully installed. At this time, they're only asking for 80%. For Perez Elementary, also, everything's completely installed, but at this time, they're only asking for 80%.
Mr. Garcia, can you please get closer to the mic because we're having trouble hearing every word you're saying?
I'm sorry. For Tabasco Elementary, yes, the AC units have been installed. To Perez, they have been, all the units have been installed, and Diaz the same. They've been installed. That's what this pay request is for.
So you're saying everything has been installed?
Yes, and but they're only asking for 80% because they're still waiting for testing and closing out the units. So they're only asking for 80% until the project is closed out. They'll request the remaining 20%.
So just clarification, this item number 4 is regarding the air conditioning, the HVAC specifically, or? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, this is for the HVAC.
The HVAC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the previous motion died on the floor, so do I have a motion for this item? The approval of application of contractor's payment request number 3 for La Jolla ISD Phase 2 of PSI Guaranteed Energy Savings Performance Contract Amendment Project.
Also move.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Okay.
Those opposed? Motion-
With this, Mario, we should be good, taking off,
Motion passes.
to be full, like fully operational on everything, not just certain things. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so motion moved. Number 5, under Business and Finance, Legal Assistance Fund 2020 Texas Association of School Boards District Membership.
So move.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. 2020 TASB District Membership dues.
So move.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Business and Finance, approval of Region 1 School Board Association membership fees for 2019-20 school year.
So move.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Madam President, and on Instruction and Student Services, I make a motion to approve items 1 through 11.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Under Human Resources, public hearing and approval of salary adjustment regarding payment in excess of contractual amount. So this will require a public hearing. So at this time, we will move into public hearing at 7:19 p.m. So we open the public hearing.
And for information, these salary adjustments are being made for some teachers and other staff members that participate in the VITA program, which is Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. They complete income tax for different, for the community at no charge to community members. So it's 14 different staff members for a total of $36,085.
Do we have any questions or input from the public? Okay,
Also move.
Second.
we'll close at 7:20. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Under number 2, Human Resources.
Second.
We have a
Madam
motion, we have a
President, can you
second.
record the closing of the public hearing?
Yes, I closed at 7:20. Thank you. I did have a motion and a second. All in favor? Those opposed, motion passes. Approval of reclassification of Communications Officer Auxiliary Pay Grade 3 to Communications Officer Pay Grade 5.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Number 4, approval for 27 additional full-time employee FTE cafeteria helpers.
I'd like a little bit more clarification on this. I know we talked about it at the last meeting, but just to clarify what this additional responsibility in the district is going to cost the district. Do we have anybody here?
Pardon me?
Do we have anybody here to go over
We
this?
have Ms. Reyes is here. This is Ms. Reyes, Director of the Child Nutrition Program.
Good evening. Can you repeat the question, Miss?
Just go over this. So this is directly tied into what we discussed last meeting. Undertaking what project?
So the request for the 27 FTEs is to provide support for the child nutrition programs.
For which one, I'm sorry?
For the child nutrition programs, all
Okay.
three.
For which one specifically?
So this is to provide services for the breakfast, lunch, and beginning in January, the supper program.
How many are for the breakfast, how many are for the lunch, and how many are for the, what was the third one?
Supper.
Supper, okay. Can you break it down for me?
So an example that I can give you for the need is to provide support for breakfast in the classroom, preparation of menu items, implementation of the new supper program beginning January and the Saturdays, also to decrease accidents because we have been short-staffed for quite a few times. This is not
So
only-
already, right now, you're already short-staffed with
We've been
breakfast and
short-staffed
lunch.
for 2 years.
So how many specifically out, and I don't know, maybe you're not understanding the question. Out of the 27 additional employees that we're undertaking, how many are specifically for the breakfast and lunch? Additional just to help out because you're short-staffed?
The FTE is 8-hour workday. So the program operating for La Joya ISD, breakfast, lunch, and now supper, is substituting the after-school snack program. It is an 8-hour shift workday, so it's to cover all 3 programs under TDA.
We're not hiring specifically somebody to cover breakfast and lunch.
No, it's an 8-hour
It's
shift.
more for the supper program.
This is my question. I guess my question was also because when last time we came in, you said that it was going to take about 27 new employees, 20-some employees, if I'm not mistaken. And I know that we've tried in the past, not too long ago, you all were asking for some help, but we couldn't help you out because they said that we had the right amount of personnel per school. I thought that these 27 positions were specifically for the after school.
No.
So then,
If we go back to the child nutrition history in La Joya ISD for the past 2 years, we were cut 36 positions 2 years ago. Okay, so we were short-staffed 2
Why
years
were they
ago.
cut, Ms.?
Budgetary adjustments.
Maybe because of lack of students or less students?
Well, it was budgetary adjustments, but the need and the requirement to provide meals did not change. We were expected to provide breakfast at certain times under certain procedures by principal's request. And when I say that, I mean breakfast is traditional. It could be through the cafeteria line. And you also have to think of how many point of sales, which is the counting and claiming procedures. How many staff do you have there to count reimbursable meals? And those don't change. The structure of your campus requires 2 point of sales, so you need 2 staff members. You need 2 staff members to produce meals and 1 to prepare and also sanitize, which is clean the tables and the floors. So we were always short-staffed. Now we have been collaborating with Custodio, and they help us. But we have always been addressed this. Just to give you an example, since September 2018 all the way to November 2019, which is this month that passed, we were not allowed to hire for 14 months. And we were not able to bring back staff that retired or resigned. Why? That's my question.
well, that was our concern too, because
Yeah.
I know that I had some cafeteria ladies, as you know, my mom works in the cafeteria, and they said when one was out, it was very hard to cover.
Yes.
And I don't know why it had to come for the dinners to approve 27 positions.
Mr. Morin, would you like to answer that question? Because I know you work very closely with that department too.
No, the thing is that we were short-staffed a while back.
Yes.
Why did we have to come to this to, to
I
finally
have
fulfill some
been
of
bringing it up to administration for months. To be specific, 14 stressful months. I've been bringing it up. Now that the Saturday and the Supper program came into place as a TDA requirement a few weeks ago, that's besides the point. We were always struggling. I'm here to represent CNS staff and the need. We have sometimes accidents that happen because they are in a hurry. We have to provide meals on time. We have to provide the proper reimbursement procedures mandated by TDA, and we have to serve the meals at a certain time to not affect curriculum.
Yeah, no,
So-
disallowed.
Yes,
I'm
we
not sure
also-
why the cuts were made 2 years ago or at whatever point, but one of the things that Ms. Reyes did present at the last meeting was additional revenue that's going to be generated through the supper program. And so
Yes.
because we are going to be having that additional revenue, then.
That's why I'm here.
Projected on the
presenting
meals
this.
that you
Yes.
said. That's a
And
projection.
I was very humble in my projections. Now, we hope those projections
Yeah, of
increase to the benefit of our staff and the students and our community. But with the revenue that it is hopeful to come in, we are going to be covering these positions and more.
We have a number here of 490,000, right?
I'm sorry?
We have a number here of 490,000 this will be costing the district. Does this take into account the benefits?
Yes.
It does take into
Yes.
account
Well,
benefits
we
for the
met-
employees?
Yes, we met with Mr. Munoz, we met with Mr. Morin, we met with Dr. Science, and we discussed budget, FTEs, need, expectations, revenues, and expenditures, and yes, we will be able to sustain all of them.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes.
Thank you.
Do you have a motion?
I so move, Florida.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. We will go, it is now 7:28, and we will now go and move into executive session under Texas Government Code 551071, 551072, 551074. We are out of executive session at 8:28.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion under letter H personnel, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, as discussed in executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. We will adjourn at 8:28.